Welcome to Victor Hugo, Les Miserables. Yes, that's how you pronounce it. Today we're actually going to be talking about week 2, Marius. Now, this is just week 2. I've already made week 1 the week before, and now we're going to explain the whole summary of Marius in week 2. That's just what I've read this week, so let's get to start with. Now, I read a lot last week, now I've read only a little this week, so it's probably just going to stay like 5 minutes or whatever. Let's go ahead. Now, apparently, it starts off with this. There's this boy named Gavroche, and we've actually seen him as an infant of the Cernadiers, the third child, and we've seen him with the Cernadiers as he was an infant. And the thing about him was that he was an unwanted child, and because he was an unwanted child, that he was roaming around the streets and, well, begging and pickpocketing for his living. And because of all that, it actually goes ahead and ruined his life. He doesn't blame his parents though, because like he doesn't know how parents are supposed to act. So yeah, and he doesn't really care, to be honest. And since he didn't really care, he just goes ahead and lives like that. Also, he is really free until that he becomes an adult. But because he's a kid, he's free, because they're like, kids can't work, at least not yet. Those kind of things. And of course, it just starts off a little biography of Gavroche and what he's doing. He's 12 years old, and he goes around, and once in a while, so like once in like 2 to 3 months, he's like, hey, maybe I should go see my mother. And he goes to the inn where he knows his mother is there. Well, until today. Apparently, the Cernadiers just got themselves sacked from their inn, and they had to move away because they just got into money problems. And so they changed their name to the Jondrets, and they moved somewhere else. Speaking of which, now we've switched to Marius. Now, Marius himself is a good guy. In fact, his father, Georges, yes, that's how you say his name, Georges Pontmercy, actually is a Bonapartist, and his father, Monsieur Villemond, it goes ahead, and he's all like, you know what, royalist, I'm a royalist, and I'm gonna disown your father unless you give me your child to me. And you're like, okay. And so he does. Georges gives the child to the grandpa, and Marius is not allowed to visit his father. And the grandpa says, your father does not love you. That sounds sus, to be honest. And then on his deathbed, though, Georges actually wants Marius to be there. Marius gets there not in time. The sunrise just before Marius arrived to the place, Marius's dad died, and then he was a little confused because, okay, I thought you said dad didn't like me. And then he looked at his will, and it said something about Marius having to do, like, the Cernadiers, have to help the Cernadiers, and he does it because it was his father who actually said all this. But then again, he's still confused, and so he searches for his father's legacy as well. Apparently, he later found out that his father was a Bonapartist, and his grandpa, the guy who was raising him, was a royalist. And, well, they had conflicting views. And then the royalists decided, hey, I'm gonna disown you unless you give me your son so that I can turn him into a royalist. And it's like, okay, fine, I can't afford it anyway. And then Marius still rejects his grandpa though later after that, and pretends to be poor. He lives in poverty, and he refuses any dime that any franc or like so his grandpa tries to give him. And in the meantime, though, Marius goes ahead and has some political interests. However, he has no idea what to do. In fact, there's this girl that kind of likes him, Eponyme, and we later find out that she's the daughter of the Jondrets, aka the Cernadiers. However, she's attracted to Marius. However, Marius is very blind and does not actually see any of that, like, in the feeling blind, I mean, not eyes blind. And that happens, and he just gives her 5 francs, like, okay, go away now. That was mean. However, before that, Eponyme actually scribbled down on a piece of paper, the cops are here, that kind of thing. And yeah, just to show him that she's literate, and that is pretty impressive to her. And then later, Jean Valjean is here, and Marius actually saw Cosette. And however, he has no idea that her name is Cosette. But however, he found a little handkerchief that stopped on the floor, and it had the letter U on, and so he just named her Ursula inside his brain. In the meantime, though, he just goes ahead and has some political interests, and he has some political opinions, and then he finds out that he wants revolution, and this same idea is actually shared by a group of people called the Friends of the ABC, and then they're all like, revolution is the only way we can do this. But however, he later quit the group because he just realized they're more interested in social change than Napoleon and his tactics, and they actually criticized Napoleon a bit too much for his liking, and so he quit. And then later, he goes ahead and goes to his next door neighbors and starts giving them money. However, he also hears them doing a little plan. They said, you know what? I'm gonna make my fortune. I must rob the guy. Hey, did you see the guy? That's Jean Valjean. I know him. It's from 8 years ago. How do you know? It's been 8 years. Because he didn't change. His height's the same. His face is the same. Some old men don't even grow it up at all. How do you know? Intuition. And did you see the daughter? His daughter? She's Cosette. And she's all like, nah, it can't be. She's too good. And she used to envy my kids. Ugh, she can't be that puny girl. And if that lady is Cosette, then I want to rip her flesh out. Good. Because that's exactly what you will do. And so that happens. And then this all seems to go away. So Jean Valjean is tricked into coming into the Jondrette's place, aka the Thénardiers, and then he plays dumb, saying, I do not know what you're talking about, I do not know what you're talking about, I do not know what you're talking about, saying all those kinds of crazy things. And afterwards, however, things are going downhill. Jondrette ties Jean Valjean to the bed and makes him write a letter and then mails it to an address that Jean Valjean himself provided under the name of like some sort of UF. Apparently the initials are UF. And that goes ahead. And then when the mistress, the Thénardieress, comes back, she's like, hey, it's a fake address and it's a fake name. What did you do that for? So I can have time. And while the Thénardieress was gone, he actually freed himself. Yay. And then however, Marius, the day before, actually overheard everything. It's like he was told by Javert, Inspector Javert, that he was given a pistol and said, shoot this into the air if the crime's just about to happen, if anyone's just about to be murdered. And he was like, nice, let's do. Oh wait, his name's Thénardier. His father, and he has actually trouble trying to blow the trigger because Thénardier was the person that saved his father, and his father ordered Marius to help the Thénardiers any way they could. However, he couldn't shoot the thing. He couldn't shoot the pistol. Because he no, I'm worth it. And he remembered, wait, Eponine's note. The cops are here. And then when he just saw Jean Valjean just about to being killed, he threw the note in the scrunched up ball through the window into the Thénardier's place. And when they read it, they realized it was Eponine's handwriting. And then they realized the cops are here. Run! And then they started debating about who should lead them. And then Javert came in and arrested them all. Jean Valjean escaped before Javert could come up. And however, apparently the doors were guarded, but not the windows, so everything was fine. The end. Oh, and this is also there's an extra thing that actually happened at the end, where Gavroche, the third child, goes to his mother's former inn, and he's like, Mom, who the hell are you? Oh, it's you, eh? Nice, it's the old woman. Now it's my dad, La Force. Where's my mom? Some other French place. My sister, some other French place. Huh. Bye-bye. I realized I'm finally free for real this time. Yippee-ki-yay! And that's it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope to see you guys soon in the next one. Until next time, Shannon out. Peace.